My dad came over at
Hold on. Hang on. I think I get
You
it.
gotta hit that button.
my dad came over before the game, and then at halftime we finished running a hard line to my computer. So
So hopefully you're good now. Is that what
should
you're
be
saying?
good. Should be good.
That's cool. How's that feel? Good.
So it runs from the corner by the TV at the router. I drilled a hole in the floor,
Is that what you
ran
did?
it down through, and it's about 40 feet over to my podcast room.
String it along the ceiling.
Yeah, so we had to string it along, but we couldn't. We tried to feed the wire, and it kept bunching up. So we had to make a really long pole out of a bunch of old um, curtain rods and
We literally
taped them all together.
We
It's
had
fun.
we used to have a cord running all the way across my house.
Now, see, at my parents, it's easy because it's crawl space. You just crawl down there and you pull it to where you want it to go and feed it back up. Here, it's all closed off.
Yep.
So I
How
took
it
the
is.
vent out. I took the vent out and reached my hand down there and tied it to the end of the curtain rods and pulled it back through.
That's cool. Hey, for the intro, do you want to do it? We'll have Pat and Will do their normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then do you guys want to say however you want to do it? I'm Gunner, or this is Gunner. Hey, it's Colton. I don't know.
I think,
Whatever
and
you wanna
This
I
is
think we should
Juan.
say at the same time, we say, and we're the call guys.
do. So do you want to say that before I say the guys with calls or
Calls with issues.
calls with issue? Or do you want to tack yours on after ours?
We can tack it on after.
Okay.
You want to say at the same time, Colton? And we're the call guys?
And we are the call guys. Yeah, we are the call guys.
Or do you want to say, I'm Colton?
I don't care, man. I really don't. I don't know. What do you think
flipping-
will sound good?
Yeah, let's do and we're the call guys. We'll try to
And
do it in
we are the
unison.
call guys.
Like,
Yeah, we don't do
Like Pat and
unison
Chris.
here.
yeah.
Last week, Nick and I did, but that was fake. I created that. Did you listen to the episode? Did you hear the end?
I don't know if I'm all the way through it. I'm not all the way through it yet.
How the sign off is technically fake. It was real, but I changed it. I actually cut what Nick said out and I took a clip that was post our episode recording and I spliced it in.
Nice. I'm scrolling through the comic and I do not remember seeing Batman. I
Hey, man,
must have,
neither do I.
Oh yeah,
slept through these
Batman.
two
Batman
pages.
was in for like 3
Two pa-
slides.
2
Yep.
pages.
Yeah.
Slides.
Mostly to tell people.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get some great verbiage from me for this.
It'll be awesome.
Like those vacation slides they used to have.
No, it's like,
Cook.
here we go.
Cook.
And this is when Grandma drank that margarita. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Patrick. This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. Or
Were we supposed to say?
and then you were gonna say we're the call guys, right?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I'm Chris, and then we were gonna say, and we are the call guys.
Oh, there you go. Okay, we'll do it
Are
again.
we doing this again?
Yeah.
This
Sorry,
is-
that wasn't
Take two.
communicated. I thought you wanted
Wah.
us to do ours. That's what I was asking.
We're not
Sorry.
very good with our pre-production meetings. That's why we have to have pre-production meetings and pre-production meetings.
Okay, now that we're communicated, go
I
ahead.
see water and Coke. I don't see beer.
There's no beer.
That's
Sorry.
not.
It's a Sunday.
That doesn't matter. I-
What does that matter?
Last episode was the first time I've had a beer in like 10 episodes.
Okay.
Everybody on the same page?
So what are we saying we are the call guys?
And we are, yeah, ready? 3,
Are we
2,
saying
1.
and we are the call guys
Yeah,
or just say
yep.
okay?
I don't. I
Good
don't know
call.
what's- I don't know
Good
what's
call
going on anymore.
clarifying that. That was good.
I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris.
And we are the call
The
guys.
call guys.
Yes, you are. And for those of you who listened to the Call Guys on Monday, you're entering part 2 of our 2-part Blue Beetle discussion. This is about the comic, right? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't watch the Call Guys,
Now you need to
you're,
go.
you're
Do
still
it.
listening to part 2.
Yeah. So go back
Yep.
and listen to part 1
Right.
of the Call Guys podcast.
That's imperative.
Link in the description.
Sure.
I can do that.
Link in the description below.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about Blue Beetle comics. Are we gonna banter? Are we still bantering? Even though we this is part 2, might as well throw a little in.
Yeah.
You guys
of
done
course.
anything this weekend, Gunner? Colton?
Actually, I hung out with Colton for a little bit yesterday for about
Gunner
like,
helped me paint a room and put my pool table back together.
Nice.
all
Gunner
Wow.
Gunner put 3 unnecessary holes into my wall trying to hang stuff, so I got that going for me.
I did not
Uh,
drill a single hole, just so you know. Colton did all the drilling. I just did the measurements. Plus, I also didn't help the paint or help put the pool table back together because I didn't. I told him I was going to show up at 4. I showed up about 4:15, and he already had it all done. So
So then you guys just hung out.
we hung
I,
pictures.
we hung up 5 things in the basement.
Yep.
Fun.
A long drive to hang 5 things.
I had some other stuff I was doing in Fort Wayne, so it was worth the
Okay.
drive over.
Yeah, he's not coming over. He's not coming over for just like hanging out or friendship
Oh,
or
I
good times.
have many
or-
times in the past. This
Not
was
at that
just
house.
an added bonus. Added
This,
bonus.
yes. Not in this house, Chris. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah,
Whatever.
see, I got your back. I got your back before we have to argue. That's okay. I'm just kidding. What about you then? You do anything this weekend, Cole?
I painted I painted my
You
son's
just worked.
room.
That's what you're like. Let me I hung 5 things.
I hung the 5 things in the basement. The basement's starting to look nice.
You watched
Yeah.
a Bug's Life?
I did watch A Bug's Life. I got that going for me. Put together a pool table. That was fun. Finished that, I should say. So refelted it and got everything back together.
He did the work.
Yeah, it sucked.
Pool?
Say what?
You play a lot of pool?
Now that the table's back together, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably shoot a couple games every once in a while.
Nice.
I've got these little containers with all the numbers of the pool balls, and I dump those out one by one, and that's the ball I go for off the break. So gives it a little
that's
bit of a
cool.
challenge.
Good
Yeah.
times.
I've played
Um,
pool like maybe 3 times in my life, and I just absolutely suck.
That's because you've only played 3
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like you
Yeah.
played 3 times.
Exactly.
That makes a difference.
And then let's see. I baptized our friend Sid, Gunner and I's friend Sid today in a nice 86-degree pool. So that was nice to have to do it in a controlled environment.
Yeah. Lake would have been
So-
cold today.
Yeah, well, that's what she wanted to do about a couple weeks ago. And she's like, "Hey, I think I can do it today." I was like, "You want to do it in the lake?" She's like, "No, we have a family friend with a heated pool." I said, "I can do that."
I like that you're like, listen, I love you and my faith is important, but that lake is going to be cold. Cool. You got somewhere else to go.
She was thinking the same thing. Okay.
I just-
It was just nice to know that we were both on the same page. So it
Oh,
wasn't like
shoot, though.
me feeling bad for thinking that.
Eh, right. You're like, oh, good. I didn't have to suggest it.
Correct. Correct.
Teamwork.
That's funny. That's
So
funny.
yeah, that's my perfect weekend. What about you guys?
What about you, Pat?
Um,
What did you do besides helping your dad out?
I helped my dad out. I got a flamethrower.
He did. He got it.
Oh,
Ooh,
intrigued.
set some stuff on fire.
Set stuff on fire. I'm gonna use it to burn off the weeds in my driveway.
Even better.
Oh, nice.
because I'm tired of pulling them.
That's the way
So
you
I'm
do
gonna
it.
kill it with fire.
I'm gonna do that with all my weeds. Just anywhere in my yard, anywhere. Like,
We're gonna go over to his house. There's gonna be big burn spots everywhere.
Burn spots
this thing's
everywhere.
awesome. Thanks for the idea.
His son's gonna get a hold of it and just start like setting the whole thing.
I mean, he does like campfires a lot.
Yeah.
Start pouring gasoline in the yard.
So yeah, that's I don't know. I'm looking forward to using it, but it was raining today, so
Shame.
yeah. All right.
I know. I thought I might show up and he was going to be outside looking like it was Nam. Like,
Oh my god.
I only know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life.
Shoot.
Yeah, that's other than that, just been lazing about.
Yeah.
What about you, Will?
Saturday I spent with my family. Well, some Friday night, some Saturday. Played video games with my mom and my sister. That was fun. And
Nice.
kind of helped them out around the house for a few things. Oh, I got a pie. Yeah, my mom makes pies.
Yeah, we have a sponsor.
Officially, yeah, she will now sponsor the podcast, making us pies for our recording days. So we got a nice blueberry pie for today.
Sitting
I
on-
don't see it in there.
It's going to be
It's
it's going to
gone.
be on our socials. You can
Yeah.
you can check it out later. Got to support the sponsor.
Oh yes, yes.
I don't know what you need to be sponsored with besides homemade blueberry pie. You know what I
Guys with pies.
mean? Guys with pies.
It's one issue
Pies and
solved.
issues.
That's right. It's one less issue. Now we have
Uh-huh.
pie.
That's
True.
funny.
Right?
What game did you guys play? What were you guys gaming on?
Stardew Valley.
Oh, you guys
Oh,
still
so
doing that, huh?
Yeah, my
It's a
mom
good game.
loves that game because it's, pretty simple, easy. Doesn't take a whole lot of reaction speed and coordination. And she can accidentally blow up my sister's house and destroy her coffee maker.
I thought you were gonna say like Mortal Kombat or something.
Yeah.
His mom plays a lot of games though. She played
we
the
have for
poop
a
out
long
of
time.
Skyrim.
She used to play Call of Duty with us back in the day.
Dang.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Nerd mom.
She get in those
Hashtag nerd
Call of Duty lobbies. You know,
Yeah, she would just play offline with us. It's like a split screen.
She's
Could you-
quick scope.
we would
1v1.
always do those make up your own rules. So we would all have like riot shields, or you
Mhm.
can only throw
Nice.
grenades, or she gets sneaky sometimes because there's like an airport map and she would hide in the bushes and we couldn't see
oh,
her.
okay.
And so you just run by and get mowed down. I was like, where was she? So that just became a game of try to find mom.
Oh, it was older version of hide and seek.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's
With
a good
guns.
evolution. Hide and seek with guns and mom. That's
Oh
not bad.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mhm.
So I guess it's my turn, right? We're going around
yeah.
the circle.
Around the horn.
Well, I had two interesting things happen to me since we last recorded. I had Friday off thinking that I was going to work on the house and do different things to be moving towards getting it ready to list. And I took my mom and my son to breakfast after I walked my daughter to school. My son had set a stuffed animal on fire on accident inside the microwave. He had asked mom, he was like, "Can you warm him up in the dryer?" And she was like, "Well, I'm busy right now. Wait a little bit." And he's like, "I bet the microwave would work." Throws it in there, catches it on fire. Quick skid gets it out, opens the door, fire goes out, and he's like, "I saved the dog." But then it turned out it was his. I was going to work on stuff when he was at preschool. Well, it turned out it was his line leader day, and parents are allowed to stay for the day. So my day off was going to breakfast with my mom and my son, and going to the store to get some stuff that I was going to use on the house, and then going to preschool, and then picking my daughter up from school. And we had a family movie night while I was at the store. I picked up Across the Spider-Verse on 4K Blu-ray. And so we did the air mattress and all laid out on the air mattress, and I made homemade popcorn. Everybody had their own bucket, and we watched Across the Spider-Verse Friday night. That was a ton of fun. My wife hadn't seen it. And then today I was in South Bend at Jurassic Quest. I took
been
my
seeing that.
kids. Yeah, I took my kids to Jurassic Quest because they like dinosaurs. So we went and they rode rides, and we were there for probably about 3 hours and got McDonald's and Rallies on the way home because that's what they wanted. And I wanted Rallies, but yeah, just had like a super busy day. I was home for like 45 minutes before I came over to Pat's house. So yeah, but it was fun. It's been fun. I've been spending a lot of time with the kids this weekend, especially. So yeah,
deal.
Nice.
yeah, you'll know what that's like soon, Gunner. Start
One of these days.
in the beginning. In the beginning, it's a little simpler, a little slower, but give it a couple of years and you'll be chalking up those adventures.
Yeah, I called our buddy Jared, who they just had their kid last Sunday, and got to talk to him this morning for the first time because I've just kind of been letting them, settle in and stuff, and they seem to be doing pretty good. So
Nice.
makes
That's
me
awesome.
even more excited knowing that they're really working it out. So
Yeah, that's great.
Hey Colton, when's yours coming? It's just a couple weeks now, isn't it? It's like right around the corner.
Yep, the 4th.
Yeah,
So-
I thought it was the beginning. So
Yep, she
Is the beginning.
she is excited to
Yeah.
have that
Man,
thing out of her.
ready, very ready. That's the 9-month mark, man. I am
Yep.
ready.
Yes, it is.
So,
So,
that's
but yeah,
cool.
she's doing good. Kid's pretty much in the right spot right now. Just needs to get a little bit more figured out, and she's all set. We got, like I said, we got her room done, and literally, I think the only thing we're waiting on is just her. So
Yeah,
Sweet.
cool. And then that'll happen, and Gunners will happen, and you guys won't have any time at all.
nope.
yeah, call guys are going on a hiatus for 3
Hiatus.
weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna
3
say.
weeks while A Quarter Books and Booze takes over. So
Do we really want them to take over?
we gotta work on that audio.
We gotta
Yeah.
have some real coming to meeting Jesus moments with them.
They'll do good.
booze
It's
or the
just
books?
audio. Both.
Both.
Man, that'll be different.
It'll be
It will.
different.
It
Won't be bad. It'll be
different
different.
dynamic. Different dynamic
yeah.
for sure. But
You guys have guests lined up for him at all? They gonna have anybody on?
I mean
plans?
Skylar he's got what he's talking about. I don't know if he has the guest figured out. I'm thinking he might have Nick on for an episode.
Oh, man.
And Roy. So
That's always a fun time.
yeah, so we'll see what he decides. But
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, and then we'll be back for Halloween. So
Oh, you guys
hoping that baby is here and and I'm not busy. So
So that's when you guys will be like, ideally, you guys will be back on.
yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Definitely the game plan.
That's exciting. Good for you guys.
Gunnar, don't forget me to talk to you about 79 too.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that.
So
Oh yeah, that's coming up. Your secret plans.
Secret plan.
I don't know if they're secret, but
If anybody ever wants to write notes, do it on graph paper. It just makes it so much easier to write. I have the entire rest of the year the call guys. It's all on the computer, but I wrote it on graph paper, and I just feel better actually handwriting it for some reason. But
You must like Excel. You
I
like
do
to
like Excel.
take notes in Excel. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems.
nerd.
Nerd.
I think that's why we're here, actually.
Exactly. We all talk
Oh.
about nerdy stuff.
Oh, speaking of nerdy stuff, Gunnar, I gotta send you a link. I watched a video of a guy who shot a car chase scene using RC cars. Needs some really interesting stuff to get his like plates that he used and dude, I'll send it to you. You'll think it's really interesting.
Nice. Okay.
But so the way we do it, as you guys know, is we need a synopsis read, and that's
Uh-oh.
Will's job. This is synopsis Will.
I've heard of
Yeah.
that.
Will Nopsis.
Synopsis man, also
Will
known as
Nopsis.
Disruptor.
Have we established that yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't listen.
I know. We know you don't listen.
You don't listen back to your own podcast.
He doesn't
does
listen
not,
to our
no.
podcast. He does not.
Unless
He was forced to once on a drive with Pat.
Yeah.
That's the only. That is the only issue of Guys with Issues he has listened to.
I think I listened to the first two.
That was when we were
Did you?
coming back from Fan Expo.
Yeah. But after that, I'm just like, I don't need it. I was there. I don't remember any of it.
I was there.
But
It gives us a good wild card.
Half asleep.
yeah. I sometimes make the same jokes, and Chris is like, "Yeah, we've already done this bit." God dang it! It would also help if you listen to the podcast every once in a while. All right. I always start with the throat clear. I don't know if that gets cut out.
No,
but,
I leave it.
Oh, good. Yeah. The scarab has chosen a new host. When Jaime Reyes discovers an odd jeweled scarab in a scrap heap, he doesn't think much of it until it crawls up into him and attaches itself to his spine, bestowing him with a host of new superpowers. With a super suit that can make any weapon he can imagine, Jaime becomes the new Blue Beetle. After helping the Justice League, Jaime crashes back on Earth, only to discover he's somehow been gone a whole year. He'll have to battle metahumans, kingpins, and Green Lanterns. But is the scarab a blessing or a curse? Find out today on Guys with Issues.
Oh man.
Wow.
On guys. With
You still,
issues.
you still don't know the answer to that?
Right.
Nobody does.
I bet if you read issue 13, you'd know.
Maybe.
I read issue 13 because
So
I
you,
knew
so
people
you know
would
for
have
a
questions.
fact that it's a curse or a whatever
I
else.
know
is
for
that?
a fact that he makes it do what he wants instead of what it's supposed to do.
Oh, that's fun.
So overall thoughts and opinions. Colton didn't like it. No,
Oh, that's
It
That's
no,
a-
what? No, but no,
was-
for real though. You don't really read comics, right?
yeah, nope.
Okay.
was
So
this your
what-
first?
How'd you feel about that?
Correct. First time. Always a first time
know.
for everything.
Oh man.
First
with
comic
us.
book ever.
Oh my. So I would say it was kind of hard to keep up with a little bit. It seems like it jumped around a lot. You really had to pay attention. I feel like for me personally, probably shouldn't have started at like 10 o'clock.
Oh, dude, those lessons you do learn as you do as you do more of this. You realize like what you read on device wise and what time you read can really change the experience that you have.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that was a contributing factor.
Yeah,
To
Nick
to,
couldn't even remember some of the stuff that happened. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was reading it at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
It was kind of tough though, because it jumped around a lot in the beginning because it was Green Lantern, then you'd be back with, normal people, and then it was like a flashback and then a flash forward. It's like trying to figure out, well, is it a flashback or is it a flash forward? Is it a new comic? I don't know which one it is.
Yep.
So I think for me, just following along with the story, was probably the toughest part. But I mean, I still understand what happened, I think, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
So, all in all, I think that this storyline was better than the movie.
Books usually are.
Yeah. Are they?
It's what everybody seems to
Gunner,
say.
what do you think? Are the books usually better?
Um,
than that movie?
Yeah, Gunnar, tell me all the books that you've read to the movies that you've seen.
Okay, we weren't gonna
at least 100% of the books I've read are better than the movies.
Oh my gosh.
So
The
he
Lord
read
of the
one-
Rings.
He's read a
That's the
couple.
Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings is all he's read.
Fully through. Yeah.
I thought you
But-
read Jurassic Park.
I
Did you
have
see
read
it?
Jurassic Park. Yes.
Okay.
In high school, we had to read it in
Hey,
high
but-
school.
Hey,
That's definitely
it's still
better
in
than
his
the movie.
list.
Oh yeah.
It's still in his list.
And I would say that Jurassic Park, we don't even talk.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it more than you did the movie. Like you said, it's not that you hated the movie, but you didn't really like it. I do think. Do you agree? Since you read it? Did you read all 12 issues?
Are we? Or who? Or,
Yes.
You did, yes.
Me?
You,
Yes, you
Colton,
did.
sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Colton.
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
responding to-
I read them all.
Okay. Well, originally we were going to do 6, and then I talked to Pat, and then I read some, and then Gunnar was reading it, and I was like, nah, we can't do the first 6. The 6, it wasn't satisfying. The first 6 by themselves weren't that satisfying. I think adding the second half to that volume was much better. But so that was my question to you then, this being like your first reading experience, would you say the second 6, because usually comics are kind of broken into story arcs that range from like anywhere from 3 to 8 issues a lot of times, but would you agree that second 6 7 through 12 were a lot more engaging overall to you than the first portion, would you say?
Yeah, I'm glad you added that, because
too.
I don't think I would have really been lost and more confused than what I already was when I finished it. Because I felt like there was, at least when I finished the 12th one, there was a little bit more closure and
Mhm.
kind of idea. I mean, there's still that big gap of, the scarab and magic and all that fun stuff. But before that, it was, I don't know, I would have been like, yeah, this is a terrible choice to come on and do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, no, I want to let you know, as somebody who's read many comic books, I thought the beginning was kind of jarring too. Like the way that the story was told, I could tell what they were trying to do. I didn't think it was coming across very well, but I felt like once the story kind of like hit its standard and kept moving, I thought it improved quite a bit.
Yeah.
What about you?
I kind of felt the same, because
Did you?
I feel like it suffered from the beginning of the story kind of syndrome, where they just like sometimes it's just not very well done. But I did have I had a weird thing with like the timeline seemed a bit off. It's like exactly kind of what Colton said. Am I reading something that's a flashback? Is this present? What's happening? Am I in, like, where am I right now in the timeline?
Yeah, I think they were trying to be like clever, like trying to use it, just like be like, hey, this is a creative medium, let's be creative. But I don't think they nailed it on how it was told.
Mhm.
Did you, Gunnar and Pat, do you think that that's kind of the vibe of the beginning?
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
So what were your overall thoughts, either of you, Gunnar, Pat? Yeah,
Let's go, Gunner.
Gunnar. What
Let's
what
go
were your
We're gonna
overall?
target you.
What were,
It's the circle.
No,
remember?
like I said, I agree. I agree. I mean, you start out with the lantern, and then what was that, Blue Monday, and you do get the origin right off the start, which is nice, but then it just kind of jumps around. And I feel like I've read a couple DC comics here in the last month or so, and I feel like it's always just a throw up of characters. It's like, we're just gonna cram a bunch of people you should know into a comic, and I mean, you get that a little bit in this. But yeah, I would say it could get confusing a little bit here and there, and I did enjoy it. But overall, it was good.
Patrick?
Yeah, I also liked it. I am glad that we read the whole 12, not just the 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
glad
the
we
6,
called
I
an
was-
audible this time.
Yeah, it probably would have just been. I think the scores would have been a lot lower if we just finished. With
Oh, for
6.
sure.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, not even.
yeah.
It would not, no question.
Gets real interesting there in the later issues.
Yeah.
So
Probably
yeah.
been a short podcast too, because it'd be like, well,
Well,
that-
this is okay at best.
yeah, not a whole lot happened when I was writing the synopsis. I was just like, not really a whole lot went down those first 6. It all kind of went down after we added,
Right.
we doubled up, and it's kind of, I don't know if that's kind of a sign of how the story is, like we felt that we needed to add another 6 in order to have something really to talk about.
I think so. I think so for some background, they refer to the OMAC and him fighting in space. And it spins out of this thing called Infinite Crisis. And it was like, and Gunnar, you having watched Flash, you understand about the crises events and stuff like that. That's like a DC thing. They used to, it would always have like the word
That's your
crisis.
throw up of characters.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, it's your like end game for the films,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they would spend months and months and months, and they'd have spin-offs that set up these big events like the kind that you guys have enjoyed in the theater. Um, some and Marvel does it too. They just don't call them Crisis. Like they both companies do it. Sometimes they do it well, sometimes they're garbage. Infinite Crisis is probably one of DC's best, and it ties back to one called Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 80s. But anyway, but Infinite Crisis had like all of these changes happen where you had like the magic, like they were talking about magic, and that's because the Rock of Eternity with Shazam like gets destroyed in Infinite Crisis, and Shazam becomes the actual wizard like power bearer in that. And there's all this stuff going on with Wonder Woman kills a guy, and it ends up being broadcast across television, which creates this huge divide between her and Superman and Batman, because Superman's like, we don't do that, you cross the line. And there's like all of these things that happen. Obviously Ted Kord died, and Jaime becomes like this new Blue Beetle character, and I think Infinite Crisis is where he was introduced then. Like that is like where his introduction came. So spinning off this series out of Infinite Crisis, it's like, okay, most people at the time that read it had probably read Infinite Crisis back in like 2006 or whatever. And so they're really just, they already knew some of that stuff most likely. But to be honest, the reason I picked this one, and I thought about picking a different one, but like every list that talked about Blue Beetle stuff had this on it. And most of the time it was like number one, but they talk about it as like the whole series, not just like the first 6 issues. So as far as like Blue Beetle series go, I think this is considered like the top. So I was like, oh, well, okay, this is what I can find. But that is kind of some background. I think that's kind of why it started the way it did. And I think that's why they were trying to do as much kind of like catch up for readers who hadn't been reading along before it. And like I said, I think that it hits a better stride once you hit issue 7, where you actually see some of that Infinite Crisis stuff. That's where Batman's at, and he's like, "Oh, tell him it was Superman. People don't like me," and like doing all that, doing all this stuff. Man, I laughed out loud. But it shows, you get to see, okay, what was he doing in space? What did the Scarab do? Kaija Day or whatever the Scarab's name is, and all
I don't
of
think
this
they
stuff.
ever said it in the book.
It's on a piece of paper hanging out of the trunk when they get all of those sheets from the girl. Yeah. From
All the
Dan.
boxes.
Yeah. On the final panel of that issue, it shows that like when they close the trunk, there's a paper that's like stuck, and it says Kaija Day, and that's or Kaija Da, and that's the Scarab. That's the name.
Mm.
But anyway,
I kind of like when you're reading, it'll just have like a bunch of random blue characters.
Yeah.
It's talking to them, but you actually don't get to.
But they don't
hear.
translate it. Yeah.
They don't. It's not like in the movie where it was a voice you could hear. It's just like, no, we're not killing everybody. And so you just got to assume by that little box, like, oh yeah, we should probably just kill all these people.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting way to translate that, actually. You don't know what it's saying, but he repeats it enough for you to get it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's like a game of telephone.
Context.
Yeah. I'm sure if you're not somebody who's good at picking up context, you'd be like, I don't know what's going on. But I liked it. I liked that too.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. Are we just jumping into favorite scenes? Is that what we're gonna do?
I don't
We're
know.
gonna talk about it as an overarching at all? Anybody want to? Sure, we'll start with favorite scenes. Colton, why don't you go? Did you have a favorite scene?
I mean, you took it when I loved it when Batman said to say it was Superman. I just that one did make me laugh. I was like, oh man, that's great. That's great. Like, that's good to know that Batman is, I feel like that's an accurate Batman.
Oh yeah, comic book
Statement.
Batman is awesome, dude. you would have, if because you like the movies, I think you would really enjoy reading Batman comics. But I like the Green Arrow part that follows that too. When he's like talking about how they fight and all that stuff, and she's like, you shoot pointy sticks at people. She's like, oh no.
I think it's Black Canary.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be. She's like, coming from the guy who shoots sticks at people, he's like, hey, they're sharp and pointy sticks. Thank you.
Yeah, that made
That
me
was
laugh
pretty
too.
funny.
That was funny. And their dynamic was funny too. I also like how she's
Mhm.
like, quick, he doesn't like this stuff because he doesn't get to talk about poverty or these like
Yeah, no.
social issues.
Quick, hurry up before he starts ranting about poverty.
That was funny. That issue I thought was kind of fun like that, giving you some of that background. But what about you, Gunnar? Do you have a favorite scene?
Yeah, and I think the scene that held on to me the most while reading it was when she goes in to grab that box that's in the one that
The mother
explodes.
box.
Yeah, and she picks it up and it explodes and everybody thinks she's dead pretty much, and everybody's like rushing in there to find her and she's gone. And then it goes into that what I should have turned left in Albuquerque or whatever. I wish I would have turned, and which I actually really enjoyed that issue also. But
Oh, yeah.
that whole scene was like, oh dang, she just died. Like that's a character. Like you've
Oh.
invested in Brenda. Is it Brenda? Is that her name?
Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You invested in her, and now she's just dead, and then she's back, so it's all good. But yeah,
Yeah, did
definitely
you-
a hard hitter.
You saw the Snyder cut, so that's they talk about mother boxes. That's what
Mhm.
like they're a little different in the movie, but I was like, oh, Gunnar will know what a mother box is.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, what about you, Pat?
I like the whole thing from the time they got teleported with the mother box to the time that they came back.
That was
Just
pretty.
that
That
whole
was,
sequence.
that was a good sequence. I like. Yeah. I don't know if this would be my favorite scene, but in there
Mhm,
when they meet the Blue Beetle's talking to Metron,
Yeah.
mhm.
Oh,
and he's like, "Oh, you want to know the source code of
Yeah,
the wall? Nope. You don't want to know the secrets of the universe? Nope. Just tell me how this armor works. That is literally the only thing I need to know."
that made me laugh out loud. That whole
I
that
did
whole
too.
thing,
I laughed at
that
that.
was great. But yeah, I like
Mhm.
it was just so far out of left field for that comic
Oh, it's
that I
hilarious.
enjoyed. Just that whole sequence. Like they just get teleported to a completely different planet, and then they have their own little adventure, and then they come back. I just
Yeah,
like
the
whole
little
thing.
little guys.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was,
Dude, that I also like how misleading that part was.
They're just
Like
gonna
they're like,
sacrifice
"Oh,
her."
she's the one that's supposed to be sent, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be one of those like let's worship them things, and then they're like, drink her blood.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part of that
was
was
great.
like when the warrior guy's like, they took something super special to me. And he gets taken. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get it." And I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be like his daughter or some like a princess or something." And he busts out with his giant horse.
Dude, my favorite part is when Jaime's like, I'm fighting in space with like this guy with a sword and he's riding a horse in a battle and and he's like, space is so cool.
Yep.
He's like, why isn't space ever cool for me? And then he's like, space is awesome.
Space is so cool. Yeah, that was one of my favorite segments.
The way you guys like say all this makes it feel very Deadpool. Like the way I didn't interpret it when I was reading it as
I
like
didn't
didn't
think it
either.
felt
so
like Deadpool though.
yeah,
I don't think it feels like it, but I definitely think there are moments with that kind of like
goofy
that
sarcasm. and-
goofy humor moments.
I think
Yeah.
the whole comic was full of it though. Like they did it better at some points than others, but the whole time I think it's supposed to be kind of snarky, sarcastic writing style.
Oh yeah. It also had really interesting kind of like realistic dialogue, like where people would be trying to hold a conversation, but somebody else is still talking about something else.
Mhm.
And movies that do that, I always feel like it captures a much more realistic dialogue flow. But the problem is, I think that's also some of the parts where it felt off in the comic sometimes because you'd be reading bubbles and they weren't actually like one person's trying to talk to them and then they just keep going about the other thing. And sometimes it worked really well and sometimes it didn't.
Mhm,
But I still like that I could tell what they were trying to do. They were
mhm.
trying to just like hold those more like authentic feeling conversations. So what was your favorite part then, man?
Yeah, well,
I'd say, his like the sequence on the other planet was cool, but I liked when Peacemaker and Blue Beetle went down into the
Shaft,
shaft where
yeah.
and he's like, "You're not going to be a mentor to me, are you?" He's like, "No, I don't. That's Batman's game." And they go down, and Peacemaker says, he gives him some advice. He's like, "It's sounding very mentor-y. You better be careful." Are you
I
trying
remember
to
that
secretly
too.
mentor me? Is
Yeah,
that
that
what
was
this
good.
is?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that part
I did enjoy that
I
part.
like that too. I also like the scene. So I'll say my favorite scene. What would my favorite scene be? because I all of the things we've talked about are ones that I really liked, including the mother box thing. Like when she pulled it out and then like it made the sound, I was like, oh no, that's a mother box. I liked the scene where they're like, good riddance to bad rubbish, that peacemaker guy. And then he's like, and then he says whatever he says.
I've
like
been
they're
called
reading
worse.
the file, right? And that, but I like when the dad walks up and he's like, no, you won't be disrespectful in my house. You're not just gonna walk in and do that. And he's like, we clear, basically. And he's like, yep, won't happen again. But he did it. It wasn't like he was chastised. It was like he had respect for the dad, knowing that the dad knows that this dude's, which by the way, this is like Peacemaker, like John Cena Peacemaker from the HBO stuff, but much less stupid. But I just like that there was like that moment of respect, and then the dad's like, you want something to drink? And so I liked that. That was just like a good little scene. I love those little scenes. I also liked when Peacemaker uses that nerve gas on the monster thing, and they're like, you made nerve gas out of kitchen goods? And he's like, and rock salt and what did he say the other thing? It was like a battery thing or something, like
I don't remember.
Antifreeze.
That's what it was. I was like, something I keep in my garage. What is it? I can't remember. But I like that scene too, just because he's like, don't make it sound better than it was.
The way that ogre thing, whatever the green monster was drawn,
I don't know.
It looked like a Scooby-Doo monster, to be honest. Every time I looked at it, I was like, straight out of Scooby-Doo.
100%. Like a Hunchback of Notre Dame, but like sweaty, like weird.
At the end of it, somebody remove his mask.
It's Mr. Jensen.
You meddling kids.
You meddling Jaime. You
darn blue beetle. And his...
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the blue beetle.
Favorite characters, right? That's what we'll do. Colton, you got a favorite? You got a favorite character?
I think is it Paco?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like his character because I felt like his character arc from the beginning to the end was really, really good. Went from kind of like the idiot to joining the posse from the posse to joining up with some sort of intelligent type thing, or seemed to be having a more important role towards the end of the comic. So I really liked his character the most because I always felt like he brought a little bit of that comic relief, no pun intended there. So yeah, that was my favorite character.
I liked when the aunt kind of said that she'd been underestimating him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that moment where he's like, give me that suit. I'll do it. And then she's like, oh, maybe I've been underestimating some other people too. And I was like, that was cool. Like that's just a shout out to his character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one. What about you, Gunnar?
Obviously Jaime, but if I had to go with somebody that wasn't the main character, I would.
You can pick the main
You can
character.
pick
That's
the main
not
character.
something.
Yeah, but I feel like that's so wrong. It's so wrong. I would honestly.
How
Can't
dare
let
the main character is your
be your
favorite.
favorite.
Yeah, screw the main character. I'm
the
gonna go
worst.
with Green Arrow.
You're like those like 2 pages,
Yeah.
top shelf.
No, I would honestly say the ant. Just the fact
Oh,
that like seeing her in the movie and just hating that character, and then in the comic, she just seems like such a better, fleshed out, makes more sense. She's there for a reason, and she's not necessarily bad. I mean, obviously she has some different things going on, but
She's like a criminal, but it's like
Yeah.
you don't really know what she's about.
what's she manipulating? What's she doing? She was just a good plot point. She just got it going, whatever needed to go, and
Mhm.
I like the relationship between her and Brenda's. That's a really good story arc, also. And
Like
so,
when you
yeah.
found out she killed Brenda's dad.
yeah, like I'm saying, she's evil, but she's also like not. She's there to do what she needs to do to further herself. So
Yeah, I agree. She was really a cool antagonist, like, but like you don't know the threat level of her.
Yeah.
Like you're like, is she like a low level threat? Like how much could she really do? But then you have like this tense thing between them, like, well, we'll blow the whistle on each other. And like it was a cool dynamic. They had like that was something that really fit well with like the type of character. I liked it too.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna, go out on a limb here and say the main character.
You're gonna say Jaime?
No
Taco.
take back.
No take backs. That's what I'm gonna say.
No take backs.
I like that discussion he and Brenda are having driving.
Right.
And she's like, I was like, what are they talking about? It seemed like they were talking about where they were going, trying to find answers, and Hooters is what I
Right.
picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though most of the time Jaime was just like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Safe
Down the
for an
road.
exploding space station.
Down the road.
No, yeah.
What about Jaime? Like, what made him your favorite?
I'd like that he's like, no, we're not killing anybody, and he stuck to it.
That's true.
He has
Yeah.
more. He has, his
Even a crazy ogre man
even a crazy ogre man. He was
Mhm.
just like, I'm not
who
doing
can
it.
resurrect.
Right. Who can heal and everything else. He's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Oh, where he said, my mom raised me better than that in the one scene.
Right.
Dude,
yeah.
I was literally like, that's the problem with the movie. Because the mom's the one that's like, yeah, you guys go kill people, except for you, Jaime. Don't you kill people.
I raised one of my kids
I
better
raised
than that.
one of the family. Okay.
No, he was good. I liked his interaction with the other characters, and I liked him as a character. He was good. He was there for what, 3 minutes, and a year passed.
Yeah, something about
Mhm.
It's got to be
time and
bad.
space stuff, right?
And the scarab hiding him from the Green Lanterns. What the heck's that all about?
I don't know. I want to know.
I know, right?
Well, they did mention that there is a conflict between the whoever it is that made the suit and the Green Lanterns.
but
The Reach.
they don't.
Oh, was it the Reach? I thought
It's
they
the
said I
Reach.
thought they called it something else. I was gonna say the Reach, but
You would have been right.
Yeah, you should have
well,
reached
I
for
second guess.
it.
Don't no
too far away.
Don't push it.
Don't push the button.
Well, Colton Pat is the comic relief of this podcast.
He is 100%.
Anyway, my favorite character recommendation would probably have to go to Peacemaker
Hmm.
this time around. I thought he was a pretty cool character.
Yeah,
They called him-
Peacemaker. That
yeah.
was actually my second one.
Oh yeah, if
Yeah.
you had to do a take back.
If I had to do a take back, it would have been
Okay.
Peacemaker.
So no,
But I-
nobody can vote for Jaime.
Yeah, but oh, I thought he had his own kind of dry humor, and like the part where he was they called him Mr. Black, and then they go talk to the quirky granddaughter, like, oh, what's your name, Mr. Black? Oh, is that real, or is your real name Eustace, or your first name Eustace too, or whatever it is they say? I don't think it was
Yeah,
Eustace.
Miss or yeah, I don't remember. But
But yeah, there were several times he had some quips, and he kind of has this feel like he's gonna be part of the plot because he found the tomb with he got zapped, and so he has the information Jaime needs, but Jaime has the suit that he would need, and so he was like, I'm blind and you're deaf, and they kind of
Yeah.
need each other. I think that's kind of a cool
Yeah.
story plot going on there between Jaime and Peacemaker. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I actually thought that was really cool.
yeah.
Like being like, oh, hey, the reason this other character is the way he is and why he's around is a genuinely interesting dynamic.
Mhm.
Like,
and the question that needs answered is if what he got zapped by is the same thing that Jaime is operating by the same person, why does he always assume he's a threat? Like,
well,
why
it
does
says in his
say
head like
he's
measures
a
him
monster?
like a threat.
And so it's like, if they're supposed to be part of the same thing, then why does he feel that way?
Because he's also a monster. I don't know.
I mean, could be.
It could be.
Hmm.
His name is Peacemaker.
Well, that's what Brenda said,
No.
right? That they both looked the same in that moment.
Or he,
Mhm.
That they
he
were-
looked at them the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Peacemaker's
Oh,
under
the
the ogre
two
mask.
monsters. Yep. But mine is also Peacemaker. I was gonna pick
Cool.
him.
Stole it.
I thought that, yep. I just thought that his once you find out his backstory and why he's there, just the little moments that he was a part of. Again, his humor was good. I like when he's like, I will shoot that engine block if you guys don't stop.
You're like an old married couple. Jaime says, "Oh no, we're married."
But no, I just thought his character was a good dynamic because he comes from all of this knowledge and experience, and Jaime has none of that so far. He has really baseline stuff, but they're forced to work together because of what happened to each of them, and that allows for this more of a total idea. But they have to be creative and do some stuff.
It's
I thought that was cool.
it's
I-
almost like he's mentoring him,
yeah.
even if it's
Mhm.
inadvertently.
Are you secretly mentoring me right now?
But I did enjoy that. I enjoyed what his character brought to the comic as a whole. I thought
Mhm.
it was good. So,
My
about-
question is,
well, go. What?
so the Reach came at the end of the 12th issue,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And it was like, well, when a technological milestone has been reached, the beetle finds a host and yada yada, right? What was that technological milestone, and what does the ant have to do with it?
Maybe it was OMAC,
Maybe.
the satellite surveillance system and stuff. By the way, in the
Could've been.
comics, Batman created that, and yeah, it became a big problem.
That doesn't surprise me. Batman's the worst.
He can be sometimes.
Or was it? Then I guess I don't know if you would know the answer to this. Jaime said something like, "Oh, what kind of psychopath would make that?" And Canary, I think it was Canary's
It
like,
was-
"Oh, don't let Green Arrow hear you say
No,
that."
Batman says that.
Batman says that.
Don't let Green
Oh, is
Arrow
it?
hear you
Yeah?
say that, but he's lying. It's him. He
Oh.
made OMAC. That's what. It's funny because of that. Because Batman's a liar.
Well, maybe Batman didn't want Green Arrow to hear somebody else agrees with him.
OMAC is kind of like what Marvel did with the Ultron thing in Age of Ultron.
Mhm.
I would say OMAC is kind of akin to that. It's a little different, but yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
so least favorite scene?
The beginning.
The
The
first
jumping-
6 issues.
Yeah, the jumping around I didn't enjoy. Like if you would have told me that, hey, we're gonna read this one to get started, see what you think, feel it out, and then we'll go from there, I'd been like, yeah, we ain't doing this.
Right? When I read it, I literally went, "Oh, this is what Colton's gonna start with." Literally, no joke. Like that is what I thought.
I'm
And
I
that's
gave him a
why-
little forewarning.
That's why I really pitched I really tossed the thought around about being like, no, we all have to read something different. Like this did not, because I was trusting the lists and things that I found.
Mhm.
I hadn't read it, and I was like, dang it, this turns me off.
I'm just glad it was a fast read.
It was.
It was very,
Yeah, that
very quick.
saved it. That definitely saved it.
I actually think that the 12 issues that we read was quicker than the 3 X-Men
Oh
issues
gosh,
that we
dude,
read.
for sure. But we haven't talked about that yet. That's not published.
Right.
Uh-oh.
People know that we.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
They
have
know
stuff
we
in the
do,
bag,
but
yeah.
they'll get to hear us talk.
They will get to hear
They'll
us
get
talk
to
about
hear us talk
Uh,
about
but
that.
it was wow, that took forever.
Yeah,
to
that
read.
was rough.
Anyway.
What
So
about you?
yeah, the
Oh,
intro.
sorry.
No, that's it. That's all I
The
got.
intro. The first 6 issues.
Gunner's the same
I
intro.
I did not enjoy the posse at all. I did not like
Mm.
that arc of having them there. I just didn't think it was very interesting. So that kind of says the whole first 6 issues pretty much is with them being a part of everything that they do. I just didn't like those characters. There was like maybe 1 or 2 of them I actually enjoyed. And that was the big guy or the little short guy that was like a brute.
They could like punch and jump.
Yeah.
I
they
like when he
just
had his
can-
powers changed with.
Yeah,
that
that
girl.
was kind of funny. But the
that part was funny.
their back and forth just wasn't interesting to me. And yeah,
I'm with Gunner on this one.
The posse.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the same.
I feel like that's going to be the answer then for the next question too. Then, right?
It might
Least
be.
favorite character. What about you, Will? You have a least favorite scene?
Well, I would like to break it up a little bit and just say that I don't know, it wasn't probably as bad as the posse thing, but Warehouse 13.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
With the gifted.
Yeah, that was
Kids and
also
all that
kind of
stuff.
anticlimactic.
oh, because it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here we go.
We're
Just
here.
Get some
TV
action.
show.
And everyone was just like, nah, it's basically just kind of a commune. We all just stay here because we don't want to deal with. I also think it's funny that they have all these metahumans, right? And the guy's like, well, if we go out there, who's going to protect us? And my first thought is, you have superpowers. You can kind of do the protecting of yourself, right? Like, I don't know.
Maybe.
they were just all the people with the really terrible superpowers, like turns into a puddle of water.
Yeah.
It
What
was
would
like
their superhero name be?
farting glitter puddle waterman. Like
Puddle Water
like-
Man.
Puddle man,
uh
the
my
human puddle. Tupperware.
my dandruff is actually flint, but I gotta get enough to start a fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like really
no.
bad powers.
That is a
Like,
horrible
really-
power.
My least favorite thing, I'm gonna tell you the one thing that stood out was when he first fought Guy Gardner.
Was that the name of the Green Lantern there at the beginning?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Guy. The way that Guy's dialogue was written, like that whole, I did not like that at all. Again, it's the beginning, right? It's where I went, why did I choose this? So I gotta be with Colton on that one. The beginning made me second guess us reading this at all. So I think that opening and stuff, and I was just like, and even coming from a background where I've read Infinite Crisis and different things, I was like, I don't know about this. But yeah, the beginning. And I also have to say I'm not a big fan of the posse in general. Just like they kind of fell flat to me as well. I think that it's just interesting because I think we can all see the shortcomings of this, but obviously it gets better, or else people wouldn't say, "Oh man, this is stuff you should read."
Right.
So
Yeah.
good on them for pushing through their initial rough start, I guess, like, but anyway, least favorite character, Colton, you got one? You have a least favorite character for this?
I mean, I didn't enjoy the posse at all.
There it was.
Do I have to pick that one or do I have to pick another one, Gunner?
It's
No,
whoever
you
it
can-
is.
that's
Ben,
fine.
Can I pick
well,
a different one, Gunner?
Yeah, you can. You can.
I can.
Yeah. Did you have a different one?
You got to take back.
He's like, hi,
Are
mate.
you
I'm
sure?
just kidding.
I'm gonna stick with the posse.
Yeah, I don't know if there were any other characters that I just didn't like. I don't know. There
Definitely the
wasn't any.
Green Lantern, right?
I thought about saying Guy in that. Guy's a douche anyway.
Are you going to bleep that one out?
Gunner's read enough to know.
Yeah.
Guy kind of sucks.
Yeah, he does.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, he does. And I mean,
He can be endearing at times during certain things when you learn more of his background.
he's
but
no Hal Jordan.
no.
Destroy everyone and everything.
Well, he thinks he does. Red Lantern. Oh, sorry.
I would say that I did not enjoy Peacemaker as much as I thought I would. He was okay. He just seemed like he was there as just kind of the guy that's going to take them where they need to go, or a little extra muscle, and drinking his gallon jug of water and buying stuff at the gas station or whatever he was doing. I mean, he was just kind of there. He had some good dialogue, but I mean, I didn't expect him to be in it either. I was reading through, I was like, oh, who's this guy? And then they say Peacemaker. I'm like, oh, okay. I know who that is.
Like, really?
Yeah. That's
Oh.
random.
Okay. But I didn't know enough about his role in the comics to really.
I think he's kind of a smaller time
Oh, yeah.
hero. I mean, they talk about a lot of small time because they talk about Booster Gold too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because Blue Beetle is usually connected with him.
Yeah.
That's why. But Booster Gold, you're right. Booster Gold's definitely like a like a C class.
Yeah.
Usually,
Yeah.
he's tries to be at least a B. What
A
about
lot
you?
of
Oh, sorry. What?
no, just say a lot of random people like that wizard guy that makes the trees come to life and they fight Treebeard and
The one that's
and
working for the ant.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just like a lot of random characters that you can do with or without.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It reminds me of something like what they would do for superhero TV shows, right? Like there's always
Yeah.
like an
Filler.
and there's always like some minor guys helping them and things like that. Patrick,
Um, I mean, I don't know.
do you have a specific posse member you did not like?
It's, you know that and that assumes I remember any of their names.
Remember their powers?
Not really.
I don't even remember their powers. One of them just thump things.
One
That's
of them
cool.
disappears.
That's true.
Mm.
I mean, did they really even add anything to the story?
According to Will and his Warehouse 13 thing, not really.
Nope.
Now, I would say it had more to do with establishing Jaime's conflict with the ant. I think that's really because the posse is a group that the ant is at like against. And the whole raid on the warehouse was because it was like her thing. Like that really was just there in the beginning, I think, to help create that uneasy truce between them.
Okay, and I don't remember. Please refresh my memory. How is the ant spelled?
AUNT.
Okay. Hey, superhero names. You never know. It just could have been
Oh.
A&T.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember what do they call her? Do you have that down, Gunner? Or do you remember
Ladama.
I don't. Yeah.
I
Ladama?
don't remember what her actual name is, but that
No.
was like her code name.
Ladama. Yeah. I think
Ladama. Yeah.
so. Yeah. I think it was more about her.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me find it. You guys keep going. I'll find it.
Like they added much.
I think that's the general consensus. What about you, Will?
I would have to say,
You're gonna say Jaime, aren't you?
yes. What was her name? Danielle.
Danielle Cord.
It wasn't Cord. It was like Garrett. Danielle
Oh,
Garrett.
the scientist chick
Was-
that they.
It was the
granddaughter.
granddaughter of
Yeah.
the first one. Because
Yeah.
Ted
No,
after.
Garrett, not
I
Dan.
thought she was
Garrett.
gonna be like, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go talk to this girl or this guy named Dan. And then like they get there and she's like, oh, I'm actually the granddaughter of the first Blue Beetle. It's like, oh, okay, she's gonna be somebody. She's like, oh, I have no idea. This is all I know in these like 50 heavy boxes of notes and stuff that I've had all this time but didn't bother to read. So you can just
look.
all this stuff that
I'm gonna
means
be
kind of
honest.
something to me, you can just take it and just go.
I probably would be the same way.
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, although that's my property, since it's attached to you, I'm not gonna sue you for it. Pretty much.
I don't know that I would ever actually get through it.
Yeah.
And if somebody came up looking for it, I'd be like, you know what?
Now
Take
it's
it.
out of my
You
house.
got it. I'm not gonna say anything.
You know,
I guess that makes me a bad character.
I mean, I think the point, I think Gunnar, did you just say that about, that's my property, but I'm not going to kill you for it or whatever?
Yeah, that's pretty much what she said.
She wasn't even intending to help anybody at first. Like,
Yeah.
she just thought that she'd get to take back the scarab. That was,
Mhm.
my least favorite character is the sweaty ogre guy.
Shrek.
So I could
Scooby-Doo
say
Shrek?
hey, Mr. Jensen. I could say the posse because that would be, but we've already talked about that. So I just sometimes characters like that, comic books have those pretty regularly, like those like tormented by God, my faith makes me a bad guy kind of thing. And it's like, I think we talk about somebody like that. What was his name? Jean Paul?
Oh,
What?
no. Oh,
Azrael.
Azrael. Oh, but
My
anyway.
favorite character.
So but the characters like that, I just find like, especially when they deal with like the magical stuff, which is where he came in, it was because of that other guy that Gunnar already mentioned, right? That those types of characters for me, usually I'm just like, this is they rarely land with me. I
That
just
you mentioned him, and it just reminded me of what my actual least favorite scene was. Is when he was in the alleyway with the diviner, the
Yeah.
little shaman guy,
yeah.
and like the ogre spits in his hand or something, and then he like inhales it or drinks it or whatever. And I was like, what was that about? Because it never came up. Like, did he use his spit to
It was-
revive the trees?
It was a
or-
contract. That's how magic contracts work.
I don't
You
know.
got to
I'm
get
just like,
blood,
whoa,
spit, you know,
that
good
was
time,
that
whatever.
was a weird thing that was never explained.
But yeah, that's the thing when you deal with like this, the supernatural and magic in comics and stuff like that, man. It's just like, okay, we just are supposed to go, okay, it's magic stuff.
Well, he didn't
Oh.
even for anything like, hey, I need an offer. He just held out his hand. The other guy spits in it, and then he drinks it. They didn't talk about it. It's like, have they done that before?
Now, I didn't hate that his powers made it so like Jaime had a hard time. Like he refuses to kill, but yet he kept sounding like he was asking him to just kill him to end everything, but he wouldn't do it, which caused kind of conflict between them. And he was like strong and would regenerate and stuff. That was okay. Like his actual power set and desires and things, like I'm like pseudo okay with that. But it's just that the character itself, I'm just like, another one of these guys.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the same guy. Maybe it's always that guy. In any comic that's ever written, it's always just that guy.
That guy.
Maybe.
But
I mean, he has to come back because he was talking about the Reach and his dreams
yeah, that's true.
before the Reach were introduced. So he's probably going to they're going to go talk to him in whatever secret prison Peacemaker had that guy hauled off to. But
Arkham.
yeah,
Warehouse 14.
Warehouse 14. It's down
Right.
on the left.
It's one desert over.
yeah, I should have taken that turn in Albuquerque.
Yeah. Area 51 just
Did you guys have anything else you guys wanted to bring up? Any parts that you liked or didn't like, or any notes you had, or
I hated how he found the beetle, the scarab.
just
I
like
thought it was a pile of trash. I was like, what?
It was so ridiculous. I put it under my synopsis. It's like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
spilling it out in a big belly burger box.
I know that I was like, why can't it be something like that? No, he falls on the trash and it's somehow in the trash.
it's destiny.
Yeah. Stupid. But
Yeah.
maybe
sure.
there was something that we didn't see. This isn't an excuse because I agree. Like it's totally random, right?
mhm.
Maybe that ties in with like something that we didn't see, like
That's true.
from something else where it got thrown out, or when like something that happened with Ted, or who knows?
Maybe in that last
I'm just-
scene.
But again,
see
that's the
it.
problem with comics, right? You don't know. You
Well,
don't always
yeah.
know.
So how else would he have found it? I mean, think about it.
You mean in the context of
Realistically,
this
no idea.
plot?
In the context of this plot.
I mean, technically, the beetle was found randomly the first time, right? It was an archaeological thing,
right.
but it was still like a chance, like lucked into this moment of finding
But
it.
it's not
Maybe it
like-
always gets found randomly.
It's not like Jaime would be in an archaeological dig.
Yeah, he's a high schooler.
I know, right? Like,
I know. Paco's a trash archaeologist.
Hey, he lived by order. Maybe it would have been a smuggling thing. I don't know. I got nothing.
I mean, none of that came into being until after the year that he was gone. So
Yeah.
the smuggling and the border stuff and all that. So it's just like, I mean, how else is he gonna find it?
I've
Unless it
heard
falls
that
out of the
Texas,
sky.
I mean, that's what happened to Hal Jordan, right?
Right.
Alien spaceship crashes and he gets a Green Lantern ring. I guess so that would be the flip side of that.
And that's always been played out at this point. So you just find this trash. Why not?
I can't remember. Does he fly into space immediately after the suit goes on. He does, right?
Hal Jordan done. Oh, but
I feel like he does.
I have to tell you guys a line that comes in the 13th comic because I actually noted it because it made me laugh out loud because the Reach gets expounded on. Do you guys want to know anything about him right now, or are you do you not want that? Can I share this?
Yeah, sure.
Here.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can share it.
Okay. So it turns out, big surprise, the Reach is like, hey, we always do this stuff and we try to help people out and we're good guys. And they're like, oh, okay. But then they're not. Because as soon as they leave Jaime, they're like, we got to figure this bull out because this is a problem. So they are bad guys and they're actually like merchants. Like there's a merchant code religion that they follow. And I don't know.
So they're really reaching for those profits.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
For that joke.
That's what I do.
But anyway, and they send out a whole bunch of scarabs because planet, I guess, can only have one or something, but they send a whole bunch out and it makes like these like half zombie guys and only Peacemaker and Jaime can see them and they gently take them down. You find out that no other scarab has ever done anything non-lethal. That's not a thing. So they're really concerned that Jaime has forced will of his own autonomy onto it, but it's defective. Like they tell him straight up, your scarab's got a problem. It's defective. So there's like this whole plot about this. But anyway, when they find that out, Peacemaker is at a barbecue that Guy Gardner shows up to, and but he tells Jaime, he's like, I told you, man, never trust aliens. And Jaime goes, Superman's an alien. And Peacemaker goes, Superman's American.
That's pretty good.
It made me laugh out loud. But no, it was just interesting. It was interesting seeing that where they're taking it. I actually think from what we all have talked about, I think we would all find it interesting to continue that story being about the Reach. Also, we didn't mention this, but when the Star Hunter, the new god, headbutts him and he's like, what is that? And he's like, it's justice. And he goes, you've got a forehead full of justice. What does that even mean? That made me laugh out loud. I thought that was kind of funny.
That was good.
I just was like, oh, I didn't expect that. That wasn't what I expected out of that answer. So, but yeah, I think that 13 really starts to take it into what it's about. You also learn that the Reach and the Green Lanterns had this big war like 40,000 years ago, and they basically have this really uneasy truce, is what it is. So
that makes more sense then.
Yeah, interesting stuff, space stuff.
Space stuff.
Yeah,
cyberspace or regular space.
Space. Oh, is it in its mind space?
Mind space.
It's in your mind space. Not to be confused with MySpace.
Right.
MySpace.com/golden image radio.
Mind space. Yeah, that's going to be the next.
I'm going to go register that that website.
It's probably already.
MySpace.
It's probably
It's
some
already taken.
VR
It
thing.
was.
But anyway, if nobody has anything else, anybody got anything else? Anybody? Anything?
I'm good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I think we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys having us on and having us read a comic.
Well, we're not done. Okay, we're not done.
There's a rating.
Still need to rate
Yeah,
it.
Gunner, we weren't.
Oh,
off.
Jeez. I thought you were a fan.
I am a fan.
Okay, should we do it out of
Scarabs.
scarabs?
Mhm.
I think this one was pretty straightforward,
Right.
right? Sometimes we got to figure it out. So Colton, out of 5 scarabs, what would you?
Oh,
2.9.
2 point, almost a 3.
Almost. Not quite a 3, but almost a 3.
So kind of an average read. Like you're like, it wasn't terrible. The beginning was, but the end kind of pulled it out a little bit. Yeah,
with it being my first one, yeah, you sure gave me a doozy to start with.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We would have had you on for something different.
That's okay. That's okay. But honestly, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I think I would have enjoyed it more if it would have been better.
or even told more straightforward. I think that would
Yeah. If the intro would have been, I don't know, normal or more of an actual like introduction to this Blue Beetle, it probably would have been higher. But yeah, that the beginning completely threw me off because then it seemed like from there I was second guessing every time a panel changed from certain colors or different places. I don't know. I was just guessing out. I was just guessing the whole time.
Space, Earth, space, different world.
yesterday,
Yeah.
2 weeks
Yeah.
later. What is
Nah.
going on?
It's a year from now, a year ago, or a year forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did something I liked in the beginning that when he put the suit on, it freaked his family out. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like genuinely scared them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like sure would avoid
Like
them.
she didn't even want to be near him.
Mm.
I thought that was interesting.
Mhm.
Anyway, sorry. Gunner out of 5.
Let's just go an even 3.
Yep.
I think that's reasonable.
I did too.
It reminds me of that what I pointed out to you when you showed up early. That he was like, "I'm glad everything's back to normal," and then the next day just was 1 week later, and he's looking at a cow that has a big hole in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
and I just found that funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad it's all fine.
Anyway.
3 holes in a cow.
3 holes in a cow.
How many strange quantum holes in a cow would you give?
I was going to give it a 3.5.
I probably have to go with Gunner and give it like a solid 3.
Wow. We
I-
have like
I think since it's on everybody's list, I'm going to go on a limb and say the ending is better than the beginning. Like the story just gets better. And so knowing that, I'll probably continue reading. But had I been following it along from the beginning, I probably would have waited, stopped buying them, and then got people's opinion
Mhm.
towards the end before I went back and bought some more. So yeah, I'd give it like a solid 3.
Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier because the beginning I was definitely lower, but the end was pretty fun, and it does have me wanting to read more. I would be interested to see where it goes. So I'd say like a 3 or 3.5. I'm trying to think if I enjoyed the latter half enough to bump it up to a 3.5.
3.3333333.
That's usually
Right?
my game.
Yeah, that 3.25. But yeah, I would say somewhere it would fall like a 3, maybe a 3.5. The latter half definitely would be like a 3.5 to a 4.
Right.
But the early stuff it'd have to be like a 2.5 to 3.
I think the reason I gave it a 3.5 is because it was such a fast read that the slow first 6 issues
Didn't feel as bad.
it didn't feel as bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. If it would have been like some of the other stuff we've read and it would have been like that, oh,
Right.
we would have been like, this is a 2. This is a 2. This is a 1.5. No, but I thought it was kind of an average story. It wasn't bad. It definitely got much more interesting. And I was like, oh, this is what I was hoping it would be more like,
Right.
was what came later.
Mhm.
So you do have my apologies, Colton. I'll hook you up with something good when we have you on individually. We'll do an individual. We're going to have Gunner on for something we've talked about before.
Oh,
We'll have to let you pick one. Maybe you come on solo. So
I'd be down for that.
yeah, that would be fun.
It
It would
would
be
be.
fun.
We're a duo. We work in tandem, especially when we hang pictures.
Please let me get an opportunity to crap all over Green Lantern. Or no, are you doing Daredevil?
I'm doing Daredevil. Yeah.
we're
That's gonna be tough for me.
Yeah,
like
we
him.
love Daredevil.
the thing. I want it to be something you enjoy, like a hero you want to read more about. So we'll talk and we'll get it figured out.
Oh, for sure.
So, well, we want to thank you guys for coming on to
Yes.
Guys with Issues.
Thank
Yes.
you.
we
Yeah,
appreciate it.
we do. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad we could continue this conversation across podcasts. Crisis on Infinite podcasts,
Yeah, at least
or
it
issues on Infinite podcasts. Sorry.
Something like that. yeah.
Issues on Infinite podcast. That sounds like a podcast almost.
Really?
But yeah, do you guys want to talk about? You want to give some of your contact info? You want to give some
Um,
of your own for a second? Your
yeah,
email?
Colton, go for it.
Gunner, you got my plugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you check out we have a huge family of podcasts, the Golden Mojo Entertainment family, and we have a website. It's goldenmojoent.com. Go there and you can find all the information. But if you want to check out just the Call Guys, facebook.com/the Call Guys Pod, Instagram at the Call Guys, TikTok at the Call Guys Podcast. And you can email us. We always love to get emails. So if you go back and listen to our episode 78 with Guys with Issues, we talked about Blue Beetle the movie. If you're listening to this, you should go back and listen to that because it's a fun conversation. Yeah, go check that out and just we enjoy more listeners. So
You also have a YouTube.
yeah, we do. Just search for the Call Guys Podcast because our URL is like beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. So for those of you who've listened to us and thought, what do these bozos even look like?
Yes.
We will be on their YouTube channel. We did this over Zoom. So Gunner will have both of these. You can upload this.
Man, it's already uploaded. This will be uploaded. So
Okay. So you can watch, if you're a YouTube user, you can, if that's where you like to hit a podcast, you can actually do part 1 and 2 on the Call Guys YouTube. So
I can link you guys, since we're recording this on Sunday, I can link you guys the episode early if you want to listen to it also.
oh, sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody have anything else?
We know Will's gonna listen to it.
I
Oh,
was gonna say, Will, you said cool, like, yeah, I can't wait to check it out.
No, that was me pretending. Yeah, I wouldn't feel better about yourself.
I appreciate
I was
that.
I was convinced.
I was not.
Well, I love you,
Uh,
brothers. I want you to.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Oh, and again, thanks a lot for being willing to do this and to try reading some comics and to watch a movie that we all thought was okay. It's a shame it wasn't something that both of these things couldn't have been like home runs and we could have really been pumped. But it was still fun to chat. It was a great time to hang out. So
My goal before the end of the year is to get your box of Green Lantern comics back to you. So
It's not that hard. Just give him the box back.
after reading them,
I don't feel like you, man. I can start you on much smaller things, but you thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to give you the hookup.
Well, good luck with your first child coming and reading comic books.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. That's a great time to do stuff like that because there's times where you got to be holding a sleeping baby or something like, and you just like read while you do it or something. Dude, it's easy.
Those hands,
Yeah,
yeah,
holding a
like
sleeping-
holding your phone.
It was sitting under my arm on my leg. Okay? And I've never held a baby that way. I don't think that would be the way to do it.
I think it's called the football hold.
All right, you just here and you got some else.
So anybody
Oh
know,
wait,
he dropped his phone when he was talking about holding a baby.
yeah,
I
I did do that this weekend. Sarah and I had a birthing class.
You took classes. Good for you.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Prepared. I never did that. I had a midwife though. They give you a heads up.
You never took
Yeah.
class, or you never felt prepared.
Both.
Okay.
He winged it. He's like, I watched a movie.
This is just like junior, right? Like this. But anyway, okay. So if that's it for
I
this.
think that's it. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris.
And we
And
are
we
the
are
call
the call
guys.
guys.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Oh,